Hey folks, the other day we looked at these Hornady Critical Defense loads. This is a 12 gauge load. It's 2 3/4 inch. It has 8 pellets of double aught in them, and it's moving at 1,600 feet per second. And if you watched that video, you saw we had extractor problems with these things. Well, I didn't want to say too much about it in that video because that was the last load we had shot that day. But up till then, the 870 had been performing fine. There was no extractor issues with any other load that we had shot. So what I want to do right now is I want to do the shell breakdown for these because I didn't put another video because with the issues, the video was getting too long, and honestly, people won't watch a long video like that. So let's do the shell breakdown, and we'll come back and talk about these. All right, let's look at the shell breakdown of the Hornady Critical Defense Buckshot. The box says we have 8 pellets of double aught buck. We open the shell up and we find 8 pellets that are 32 caliber. They weigh 49 grains each, and they have a lead hardness of between 11 and 12 on the Burnell scale. We see that we have nothing but pellets. We have no buffer. The reason for that is with a lot of Hornady loads, the crimp is not very good. You can see the projectiles inside the shell there. There's no buffer. It would be coming out if there was any in there. We found the pellets inside of Hornady's versatile wad, which is like Federal's flight control wad. The pellets sit in this end. This end sits over the powder. We have these little fins here that open up when the shell goes off. Kinds of traps the gas, pushes the wad and load out the barrel. Under the wad, we have some sort of disc powder. We could measure it. We could find the weight of it, but we don't know what type of powder this is, so we don't want to do that. That's a dangerous thing to do. Let's look at the shell here. See what kind of writing we have on the shell. The shell itself, the writing, I don't think it's going to last very long. I can see it's already starting to wear some, but it's not really that important for a defense load. This is going to be stored in the box, or it's going to be stored inside the shotgun. It's not going to be in your pocket, really. But we can see the H. We can see critical defense. We see 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch. Double aught buck, 70 millimeter, which is also the length. That's 2 3/4 inch. 740 bar. That's the pressure. On this end, we have Hornady 12 gauge. Not bad for a defensive round. Like I said, the writing I don't think will last long. The writing lasting is something that's important for a hunting load, something you're going to tote around in your pocket. Let's look at the box. Here we have the top of the box. Hornady Critical Defense, double aught buckshot, 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch, 8 pellets, 1,600 feet per second. We have 10 shot shells up in the upper right, and then we have a cutaway to show us the components of the shell. And when we open the shell up, that is what we find. We have truth in advertising there. On the front of the box here, we have all the same information, plus it tells us that this is Hornady's versatile wad. We have the information again on the side of the box. Plus we have the product code, the hashtag underneath of Hornady, that number, that's the product code. And if you look down further below where it says 8 pellets, you see the lot number. We'll flip the box around. On this side, we see a little bit of information about Hornady. We see their address, and we see that they support the Hunting and Shooting Sports Heritage Fund. And on the back side here, we have a little bit of foreign language. So there's the shell breakdown for the Hornady Critical Defense. All right, now that we've seen that, let's review a few clips of what went on the other day when we tested these, so you can see the problems fresh in your mind. Uh-oh. We got a stuck shell. We're going to run it back up in there and see if it grabs it this time. It grabbed it that time. It did it again. Now, extractors on shotguns do wear out. It grabbed it that time. It did it again. Now, So as you see, the 870 was not extracting these. But since I shot these, I've shot some more 12 gauge buckshot loads in that 870. The more normal standard variety, about 1300 feet per second, and they've done just fine extracting. So the problem wasn't the shotgun. The problem really was the ammo. What was going on is they were swelling. They were swelling up. The brass was separating from the plastic hull, and they were getting hung. The extractor couldn't pull, it wasn't strong enough to pull them out after they had swollen. It loosened them the first time, and when I would run the bolt back up, the second time the extractor would pull them all the way out. But that's not how buckshot should work. So I think this would probably be a problem with just about any pump or semi-automatic shotgun, because pumps and semi-automatics have the exact same type of extractor. It's just a little claw on the bolt. It grabs onto the rim of the shell and it pulls it out. But it got me to thinking, double barrels, break actions, their extractors or ejectors or lifters, whatever they have more meat, more surface area that grabs the rim, that holds, it actually holds the rim until you break the shell down. And then if it's a extractor or a lifter, it just picks it up out of the chamber, and then you have to pull it out yourself. It gives you room to get your fingers in there. But an ejector, it's a lifter with a spring, and it just throws the shell out. I wonder how they'll do in a double barrel. Maybe we'll have to check that in the future. But all in all, what was going on that day was these things are just hot loads. And they might have been just a little too hot for that particular hole because they were swelling the brass and getting stuck. But anyway, till next time, y'all stay safe in the deer woods, and God bless.